Welcome to the Intercut Podcast, the podcast about the entertainment, TV, and movies that people can't cut away from. I am your co-host, Zachary Shevich, and joining me, the first man to step foot on ThiMascalis. Did I pronounce it right this time? Themyscira?
You were very close. There you go. There you go. Just think of all of the female women in your life and then just say it. Themyscira.
It is Arturo Zurita.
How you guys doing? I'm Art from the TheAtZShow. Excited to be here. It's a hot night. But you know what they say. I know you got yours. Gonna crack a cold one with the boys?
I didn't realize we were going to use the cracking noise on the podcast. I'm going to save my bottle open.
I thought you were going to save it, but there you go. I like how you got the Mexican one, and I got the hipster one.
Got to switch places for the next time.
But yeah, cracking a couple cold ones with the boys, and talking about movies, because that's what we do.
Yeah, in a little bit, we will get into the new Wonder Woman movie, as well as some recent movie news, including the recent Netflix cancellations and some rumored movie titles. Right. But first, Art, we got a podcast. We did it. This is episode 1 of what we're calling the Intercut.
Yes, sir.
You may be familiar with what Art and I do here on YouTube, but this was a thing that we wanted to do together as an opportunity to discuss some of the movies that we don't normally have the opportunity to discuss about as in-depth as a platform like the podcast, where we can speak for a whole hour, you know?
Yep. I know it's crazy because sometimes you see podcasts, and I know some of our favorite podcasts, you just listen to them. And the same thing with YouTube videos. You just watch them, but you don't realize like the work that goes behind it. It's not to complain and be like, you must watch, and we must get 1 million views because we worked hard. But it's just the... A lot of it goes to this man right here. You know, he told me about us making a podcast for a while, and we've had our ventures with podcasts before in different long form things, but this is something that we've been working on for a while, and we hope that you guys like, and we're open to you guys' suggestions. This is the Intercut, where we talk about movies and movie news and all this different stuff, and we have a lot of things in store that we're testing out. But this being the first episode, the first official episode, we hope you guys like it, and definitely let us know your thoughts down below as well.
Yeah, you can see our most recent test episodes still on our YouTube channel and on our SoundCloud, and eventually on our iTunes page as well. We'll get all that up and running shortly. But feel free to leave us notes, comments, even questions in the YouTube comments down below, or shoot us an email, intercutpod@gmail.com. You know, this is a work in progress, and we'd love to hear some feedback and see where you guys want to see this podcast go. I mean, for me, I did a lot of stuff on YouTube where I was reviewing movies, but, you know, I didn't necessarily have the time to get as into them as I want to on this, or talk about as many movies as I can in this. So that's something that I'm hoping we can do, is touch on a lot of topics, whether that's news or new TV or new movies. So we'll definitely get into a lot of interesting and talked about entertainment on this show.
And I just wanted to talk with Zach, so I'm like, I'm down. But yeah, I'm excited.
So we're going to get into our first thing this week and every week. What have you been watching, Art? Let us know what's been on your plate.
Well, you guys have probably been watching something more exciting, so let us know what you've been watching, because for me, I've been pretty busy editing, doing a couple other stuff. But from the things that I have been able to watch, Netflix should go to. And I've actually been getting into some stand-up. I have not been able to see the Louis C.K. one. A lot of people have been saying that one's really good. But there's this dude named Hasan Minhaj. I want to make sure I get it right, because even he makes fun of it. People call him Nicki Minaj. This dude, I first saw him. He was, you know, the YouTube trending page where you got like a video trending. This man had all like top 5 spaces because different people uploaded it. It was his White House Correspondents' Dinner little set that he had. I thought he did a fantastic job, especially with the way he was dealing with the crowd. I'm like, okay, this guy's funny, and he kind of has that Aziz Ansari type of feel, because they're both, you know, from the Middle East.
Asian Americans.
But this guy's cute. Like, he's got something to him, where Aziz is a goofball. So this guy kind of has like a little bit more class to him, and he's like a little bit more chipper.
Suave.
That's the word. There you go. And I saw that he had a stand-up on Netflix, so that's what I've been watching. I have not finished it. I'm like the last 10 minutes. It's one of those things where you're watching it and then you got to dip. But that's a dude who I really like. I don't think he's as funny as Trevor Noah, who, again, I don't know what is it with these comedians that they're not just funny, but they're good looking as well. But yeah, I've been watching him. I want to see more of his stuff that he has. I don't watch a lot of The Daily Show other than the segments that they have, but I really like his sense of humor and the way that he's able to balance, because yeah, The Daily Show is known for being more on the left side of things, and usually when we've talked about this, when you mix politics and comedy, sometimes your bias comes through.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one who you should make fun of everyone, and you can tell sometimes they only focus on some. This dude makes fun of this guy makes jokes that I'm not expecting him to make, you know, because usually they're like, oh, I can't make this joke because as much as I want to be funny, I'm still standing to one side. This guy's like, I don't care. I'm going to make jokes on any side, so that's why I like him. The other things
that I've been... very well-rounded perspective. I agree with you that his Daily Show segments are really strong. I think, you know, since they've had this switch over to Trevor Noah, he's probably the strongest correspondent on The Daily Show right now.
Especially because they get a lot of hate. I never knew this, but Trevor Noah gets a lot of hate, which surprised me because I always thought it was funny, and I'm like, oh, the world doesn't like him. Oh, okay.
I mean, it's hard to follow Jon Stewart, but I think he's been doing a pretty good job, especially as he's grown into the role.
And he's got good people working with him like this dude. But on the flip side of things, I've been catching up on The Leftovers. I remember seeing season 1 a long time ago. Season 2 came around, and I got some buddies. Shout out to Chase from A Few Mixed Reviews. He doesn't make videos. Don't subscribe to him. But he told me, he's like, yo, second season really amped it up a bit. I was like, okay. And then I've been hearing some things about the third season. So I'm rewatching the first season because me, everyone else, and including the writers, have no idea what was going on. And I'm just worried that it's going to, because again, I'm not in season 2 yet, that it's like everybody else. It's going to be that thing where they just give you the setup and never the why. And you want to know the why because you feel it's very important. And I'm okay with it's like, a lot of people brought it up, The Walking Dead. It's about how they survive, not so much, you know, why they're all sick. But eventually, that's something that they're going to answer. Yeah. With The Leftovers, though, they tease that thing so much. It's like, you better tell me or you better not. And I don't know where they're going to go with it. But it's HBO. So, I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a few episodes of the first season of Leftovers, and I mean, I didn't stop because I disliked it. I just stopped because that is a heavy, heavy show. It is pretty depressing. I mean, for those of you who may not know what The Leftovers is about, it's sort of the aftermath of this traumatic, world-changing event where you have to let me know. I think it's like 1 in every 9 people or something like that. Yeah,
it's pretty much like Left Behind. For those of you who saw those movies, it's like they get raptured, and there's like a good chunk. It's not like some people in one town. It's like a good chunk of people just disappeared.
Some celebrities, too. I know they mentioned, like, Shaquille O'Neal gets raptured, and it becomes this big, like, religious dilemma for a lot of people. Like, does this mean there is a God? Does this mean that certain beliefs in God are now wrong? Because we've seen, does it validate certain beliefs in God? And just seeing all these different people deal with this life-changing, in many cases, traumatic event. I mean, I found it very heavy, but very compelling at the same time. Although I heard it takes a dramatic shift after the first season.
That's why I'm excited to get to it for season 2. But yeah, like you said, it also doesn't take place right as the rapture happens. That's what I call it, the disappearing, whatever you want to say. It takes place like a couple years later, after everyone's like gone through it. So. That's an interesting approach. Again, some may say, because a lot of people hate the show, because again, it's that it irks you because you feel like they're not going to answer things, but
yeah. So this is from Lost co-creator Damon Lindelof, and considering the amount of hate you received for not answering things correctly at the end of Lost,
I love Lost though. That's the one thing I'm always going to defend.
I do too. Okay, cool. I'm glad we can be on that same ship.
Lost is my favorite story ever told.
We have to go back.
It goes Lost. It goes the Good News, the Bible. And then all the other stories out there. But, yeah, no, I'm a huge Lost fan.
So, I mean, I have some faith in his ability to land the project. And considering how he, you know, he's written about how he was traumatized by the way people reacted to the end of Lost. I think he's going to make sure this ending is really, really considered and questions people have are wrapped up in some satisfying way.
We'll see. I just like the characters. Keep forgetting her name. She played Ben Affleck's twin sister in Gone Girl. Her name's Cooney something, I think. She's a fantastic.
Coon?
Her. I think that's her name.
Yes, she was
She's
in Gone Girl, too.
She's a fantastic actress.
Oh, wait, no, you said Gone Girl.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I love her. She's good.
Yeah, she's also in Fargo, is what I was thinking.
Oh, for real?
Ooh. Yeah.
That's another one I do got to catch
Fargo,
up.
Not the movie, but
yeah, she time traveled back in time. I met with the Coen brothers.
So yeah, I really want to catch up on The Leftovers. That's a show that I, like I mentioned, had seen a little bit of, but haven't kept up with as much. As for what I've been watching, I mentioned last week I had been watching Incredible Kimmy Schmidt. Did not love the third season, although I liked it. But I'm actually enjoying a very different Robert Carlock-produced project. This one is called Great News. It just finished a 10-episode first season on NBC, and it's created by Tracy Wigfield, who was also a 30 Rock writer. This one is about a woman who works at a news station whose mother then comes and works as an intern at the news station. It stars Andrea Martin, but it's got a very funny cast. Many people you've probably seen in smaller roles before, but no one you're absolutely familiar with.
Yeah.
John Michael Higgins, who shows up in a lot of improv projects, sort of plays the I want to call him the Ron Swanson role, even though he carries none of the Ron Swanson authority. But this is reminiscent of 30 Rock in a way that is somewhat different to me than the way that in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt reminds me of 30 Rock. With Unbreakable, there's a broadness and a silliness and just an unreality to it that reminds me of later seasons of 30 Rock where they stopped really caring. It was mostly about the jokes. Great News actually reminds me of the early seasons of 30 Rock where they had a plot and, Liz was trying to adopt a baby and they cared about real things. This is a little more tied to reality in a way that I like. I also really like the setting of the news world. There's lots of shows that have been set in newsrooms before, including The Newsroom. But I think it's a really interesting world to set a workplace sitcom in. Also, Nicole Richie is one of the stars on the show as one of the co-anchors on the news program. And if you had told me this years ago, I wouldn't believe you. She's really funny on this show. Like, hilarious even. So I actually would recommend Great News a lot. Only 10 episodes, probably worth your time.
Wow. Is it on Netflix? Is it
NBC? But you can stream all of the episodes on the on-demand thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
That they have.
Check that out. How long are the episodes?
Cable half hour, so 21 minutes.
That's right up my alley.
Yeah,
right.
man.
And I like that
You
it's
can
10
take that on.
episodes. That's I always advocate for that. They no reason to be more than 10 episodes long.
It was just renewed for a second season. I don't know how long that one is, but I
I
believe
already
it'll
know
also
what's
be
going to
shorter.
happen. Yeah, I already know what's going to happen.
I also have been watching the second season of F for Family. That one just popped up on
Okay,
Netflix.
I've only seen a couple snippets there and there, but I saw you were watching it.
Yes. Let's talk about it a little bit more later on the show, maybe
Okay.
next week's episode or something, once
Yeah.
you've had a chance to catch up with
Oh
it.
yeah, I do want to catch up with it.
I love that show. I mean, it's got a lot of the darkness that I love in animation, stuff like BoJack Horseman. and
That's
shows
what I
like
was
that.
going to get at. Is it as
Yeah.
good as BoJack?
I'm not going to put it at that. You know my love for BoJack. I can't quite put it at the BoJack level.
Okay, good.
But in terms of TV I've seen this year, it's probably in the top 5 the second season. So I don't know. I would catch up on it. I would catch up on it.
All right.
All right, without further ado, we're getting into our first big chunk of the day. It's the Yay or Nay news, where Art and I talk about the latest developments in the film industry and give our approval or disapproval. I don't know how thumbs work. And we start off with the movie we're actually talking about later in the show, Wonder Woman. There was a screening, or has yet to be a screening, but that's not really the issue, at Alamo Austin Draft House. Austin Draft House out, whatever, that caused a big stir when the Draft House announced that they would be holding a women-only screening. The internet reacted in a couple ways. One, embracing it and really enjoying it, and other, reacting with hate and cries of discrimination against men. Art, are you yay or nay on the possibility of a women-only screening?
I mean, I made a video on this. It's a weird one. I can't say because I mean, I've made this very clear. I'm not a person who's black and white. I think that there are idiots on both sides. There's idiots everywhere. Like, I don't see where we always just think that one side's completely wrong and the other one isn't. Look, I'm all for. Boy, we cracking one with the boys right now. Let the girls stir martinis with themselves, Margaritaville, whatever they need to do. I have no problem with that. Then comes the idea of the men who think, like, a little self-entitlement, like, oh no, they're just mad to be mad, and they end up sounding like the stereotyped feminists that they argue about. And at the same time, wanting a woman-only screening when the whole point of being a feminist is because you want equality from not women but the men. Why separate yourself? You know, it's like it's things that makes me think. Yeah. But when I come down to it, it's like, yeah, they should be able to have it. The only reason why I'm iffy about it is because I had expressed my thoughts on this, saying, yeah, let them have it. Like, there's always screenings where that happens. You know, I've been to special needs screenings where they dim the lights, or where they turn up the lights, they turn down the sound a bit. I know that there's military screenings, there's different things like that. But then someone brought up something to my attention, and this is why I always love hearing from viewers, is that not only is it supposed to be a women's screening, I didn't know that it didn't happen. I just read about the event. Yeah. But it can only be female staff? No males supposedly are able to work there? Now, I don't know. They sent me to an article, and I read the article. I don't know if that's what's going to come to fruition, but then that kind of got me thinking, no, that's legit segregation. Yeah, that right there is literally...
I mean, I think... Here's the thing. When you think about it, though, like I'm going yay on the screening just because if you look at the actual details of it, it was started
They're raising funds, right?
Well, not even. Let's ignore charity. Let's just talk practicals, right? It started out as one screening on a Tuesday night that sold out so quickly. It's now two screenings. Right. So it's a 6:30 and 7 p.m. or maybe it's 7 and 7:30. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. Two screenings on a Tuesday night. Now you go to the movies as much as I do. You know, Tuesday night's the dead night. Tuesday nights they offer like 2-for-1 deals or
$5
discount
movies,
tickets,
free popcorn. Yeah.
They just need butts in the seats. This is a ploy to just get people in the theater, and it's a ploy that worked. This is a movie. Yeah, this is great marketing in my opinion. You know, this is a movie that has people cheering for a specific reason. Yeah. So I understand the reason to want to celebrate that among people who are celebrating it for a common cause. Now, like, I think that if it's the kind of thing where you're like, you have to like forcefully remove people or something, that'd be weird. But
it's weird.
No one's saying that's going to happen. I mean, I think what's wrong. The way that this got out of hand is just by it going across the internet and it making it seem like a much bigger deal than
people
this
talking about it who don't even live in Austin, Texas.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
This is really
people getting mad who were like, "Well, great, now I can't see it." Boy, stop.
Yeah.
There's like 5 theaters right next to that one. Don't go to that one.
Not only that, there's screenings of this movie in that theater at the same time.
Exactly.
Like, it'd be a completely different scenario if this was extrapolated and expanded. Right, like but it's a one-night event on the deadest night of the week.
And there's other screenings you can go to. People act like it's the only theater around showing the movie they've been waiting a decade for.
I'm yay on the screening, nay on the outrage. Yeah. Moving on to Netflix, which recently canceled the Get Down and Sense8, two of the beloved but maybe less watched of the beloved shows on Netflix. Off of those cancellations comes new comments from Reed Hastings, the Netflix CEO, that says, "Our hit ratio is way too high. We've canceled a few shows, but I'm always pushing the content team. We have to take more risks. You have to try more crazy things because we should have a higher cancel rate overall." Sorry about that, my throat.
That sounds like cable television right there.
Art, are you yay or nay on Netflix canceling more shows?
Look, it's weird to me. I'm nay because when I think Netflix, I think reviving shows. I think about this incredible plethora of shows that they've come out with. Some may see it as a negative, but I'll take the negative if that negative is just, there's an overabundance and I have to see a bunch of bad things before I get to what I like. So,
a lot of content creators are getting paid for their work.
Yeah, like that's not a bad thing. I'd rather have these people test out something, be given the opportunity to tell a story, and then me be able to say, not for me, and go on to the next one. But that's awesome that they're given the opportunity. When I think of cancellations on Netflix, it's sort of like, that's a TV thing to me. Because when they cancel it, they can't make it again. Again, Netflix being such a revivalist, is it really a cancellation? Can't it come back?
Yeah,
like exactly. If Netflix ain't going to revive it, who's going to revive it? If Netflix is the one reviving dead shows from cable.
That's the thing. Look, so Get Down is not going to go anywhere. Neither is Sense8. They're going to be on Netflix.
That's what it is, dude.
I'm curious if Sense8 now gets like a bunch new viewers. If it gets if it's a cult program 10 years from now.
Yeah. And it kind of is a little bit now.
From bringing it back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally a cult program now.
But it's not big enough, I guess. As
cult to the way that like Arrested Development merited more.
Yeah.
You know? Even Arrested Development, there's news that they're making a 5th season now. And it's been, you know, maybe 5 years since they made season 4. You know, so it's interesting to see. I'm curious how real these cancellations are, how much they're testing to see the interests in some of these shows. I don't want them to cancel more, so I'm going to say nay. But that being said, like, I don't need another season of Lovesick, so I'm not going to be upset if that inevitably gets canceled.
Yeah, I can see it like that. I guess if we're talking the show specifically, I wasn't a fan of Sense8.
Yeah.
Because I have very strong opinions on what diversity is in movies, and to me, that just felt like certain minorities of not just like gender, race, whatever, just being thrown on screen just for the sake of it, and I'm just like, but where's the story though? I want to care for the characters. That's the point. Like, I can't say that without people going, "Oh, you're just against these type of people." I was like, nah. I'm more for them than you are. I want to see them in a good story.
Yeah, I've heard that like the story doesn't really like kick in until like episode 5 or 6.
It's just to be able to show these people on screen, but they're not real characters.
Yeah,
because it's from the Wachowski sisters, right? They're now both. It's from the sisters, so. I know that one of the things that they were pushing a lot was the queerness of it, was a lot of the LGBT side of it.
Yeah, they had an episode that was at like a pride parade or something like that.
Do it. Sure.
Yeah, it's cool.
Don't forget the story part of it. Don't just have them be all good-looking people just so they can kiss on screen. Mm-hmm. That's lame when it happens for straight people. So equality, you get the same thing. You have to make a good story. I haven't seen the Get Down.
I from the people that I know who've seen both shows, there's a lot of people who just quit on both of them before getting to the ending. I mean, it's an unfortunate reality of Netflix today that when you have so many options, it's hard to like wait until episode 5 to get hooked onto something. And that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people about both these shows, is that you kind of needed to watch more.
Yeah, I do know some people who like them though. So again, this is just my perception of it. Some people like it, and for you guys, there's one thing to do.
Very upset about this.
Obviously, for you, it's a no. So, message up Netflix and have them not cancel it.
Yeah. We move on to the news about Top Gun 2's title. On his recent press tour for the new Mummy movie, Tom Cruise has revealed that Top Gun 2 will be called Top Gun Maverick. Are you yay or nay on Top Gun Maverick existing? One
condition.
Okay.
If you give me that mummy yell from the trailer, I'm all in. I was looking at the movies coming out this upcoming weekend, right? From the moment that we're recording this show. And I'm like, ooh, it comes at night. Comes out this weekend. But I was like, and I didn't even know why I was so excited for the mummy. And then the trailer just boop, 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 boop. And it was just him going, ah! If you have not seen this, what I'm referring to is when they, not before, just a regular one, but when they released the IMAX trailer for the mummy, they did it without the actual sound. It was just the leak, background effects. It was a leak thing that happened. Go watch that if you haven't. It's still up to just search it up, Mummy trailer.
We'll include that link in the description below.
Yeah, it's funny. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You guys, if you don't know what the Wilhelm scream is, you do know what it is. Go hear that. This is the 2017 version of the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, I hope this starts to show up everywhere. Oh my god, that'd be great.
Yeah, if when his plane goes off, it just does ah! Yeah, I'm there.
If
I don't care. I don't care.
If they put that screaming, I'm yay too. Whatever. Who cares about Top Gun? Chloe Moretz has taken to social media regarding the new marketing campaign of her upcoming movie. She is voicing Snow White in a animated remake of the film. I forgot the title actually, but there was a poster displayed at the Cannes Film Festival, and the tagline of the poster read, "What if Snow White was no longer beautiful?" And it pictures Snow White next to, as a shorter, somewhat curvy, chubby woman.
What?
kind of a weird marketing campaign, if you ask me. But it's France. Who knows? Who knows what goes over there? Chloe Moretz responded on Twitter, I have now fully reviewed the marketing for Red Shoes. I am just as appalled and angry as everyone else. That wasn't approved by me or my team. Are you yay or nay on this star of the upcoming Red Shoes movie trashing the marketing for the movie on social media?
Yeah, because it's funny. But wait, is she a producer or something?
I don't know. I mean, is she at that level?
Yeah,
because
who is she to say like, I did not approve of this?
Yeah, I know. That's the kind of thing that was like. I mean, were you supposed to approve it? I mean, I understand why she would not approve of it, but yeah,
it makes sense. But I don't know. It's so weird. Like it's an animated movie, and it's French, or is it American?
No, I think they were just advertising it.
Oh, in French. Oh, okay, okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, what's it called?
I don't see it. Red Shoes and the Seven Dwarves.
Should be Snow White and the 7 redundant adaptations that's done for this movie because it's pointless. Why are we seeing another one of these? Don't we have Maleficent's different, but don't we have Snow White and the Huntsman?
We had those two Snow Whites in the same year. It was
and
Mirror and Huntsman, yeah.
So why do we need another one?
Neither of them were good, although they made that Huntsman sequel without Snow White.
Third time's a charm?
I'm yay on her trashing this movie because
that's funny.
I had no interest in Red Shoes before this, so now oddly this marketing has worked.
Marketing's good marketing. That's funny.
Yeah.
I do want to see the picture. If they come up with some other ones, they just trash a bunch of people.
We'll include a link to that
that's funny.
Tweet below as well. And our final news bit on yay or nay is that James Cameron is in the news talking to CNN about the upcoming Avatar sequels and why they're taking so long. In it, he had the following quote. Sorry, autoplay. Okay, I'll take that line over and just cut this down. In it, Cameron revealed the following quote regarding his opinion on Entourage, and specifically Entourage. Why did I say Entourage?
You making Entourage too?
Yeah, he's showing up for the Aquaman sequel in Entourage.
Perfect.
He had this gem of a quote about his opinion on audience attitudes towards Avatar. Quote, "This land will help bridge that gap in the public conscious. People will come here and say, man, I need some Avatar." Art, do you think, yay or nay, public opinion is, man, I need some Avatar regarding these sequels?
When I wake up in the morning, what am I missing in my life? And it goes, finishing that career goal that I want, making sure that my family is healthy and I have enough money to provide for them.
Naturally.
And then it's needing that Avatar.
I know. I mean, like, my mornings start with, like, get up,
a cup of Avatar,
get my coffee, and I just sigh out 3 more years to Avatar 2.
And
then I update that every time that he pushes back.
Every time that he pushes it back. Isn't he, like, focusing on Pandora?
Who knows what he's focusing on? He might be at the bottom of the sea exploring some shit.
I don't know. I know they're opening up Pandora in California, I think it is. I'm going to be going to California sometime in July, and I don't know why he has so much faith in this story, but I'll say this about James Cameron. This is the man who I respect him because of his Aliens pitch. And I don't know. Do you know the Aliens pitch? I don't know if we've talked about this before. Well, I'm so glad to tell you. So the story about how this man pitched Aliens was that he pretty much just went into the producer's room, right? Alien was a success for Ridley Scott, and he wanted to do the sequel. And all he did was write on a board, Aliens. Then he took that last S, just put a line through it, and made it a money sign. So you know what? Make Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you know what? Make points. Make Avatar 2.2, 2.3. Do whatever you got to do. Change up the game.
I got a pitch you need to hear.
All right, I'm hearing it.
Boss Babies $.
I was sold after I saw the first Boss Baby trailer. I want a Netflix series. I want a YouTube Red show. You know, Boss Baby is the most underrated movie of 2017, so I don't know why you're joking around with that. But Boss Baby made bank. You can say whatever you want about Boss Baby, but that was supposed to be a straight-to-DVD release, and it was in the top 5 for like 3 weeks, all right? Anything can happen.
They are making that sequel. That is happening. That is a reality in Hollywood I was not expecting.
And we're going to cover it live. We're live here at the Boss Baby 2 premiere. This is where we've come with the intercut.
This is where we are. This is what our lives have led to, unfortunately. We move on.
Yeah, I don't care for Avatar.
To our topic of the week. This week we are getting into the big release of the weekend, Wonder Woman. Now, this is going to be a review with spoilers. We'll warn you before we get into any spoiler detail, but it's been out for a few days. It seems like just about everyone's seen it. So we figured it's safe to talk about some spoilers since you probably have heard the non-spoiler discussions elsewhere. Of course, Wonder Woman is the adaptation of the DC property that's been in the works for a long time. There was a canceled CW show, and there's been many failed adaptations at the movie. This one finally brought to screen by director Patty Jenkins and starring Gal Gadot as the titular Wonder Woman, Diana Prince, as they call her, I guess.
It's funny because she is Princess Diana.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody would be calling her Princess Diana because there's another one of those. So yeah, Diana Prince.
This is a origin story in the mold of many origin superhero stories you've seen before. It traces her roots as a youngster brought up on the island of Themyscira, which I can't remember and don't really know how to pronounce. And she is taught how to be a warrior and is taught to fight to honor the Amazon Code, which seeks to bring peace to the world and end war and all sorts of mumbo-jumbo backstory that I don't want to get into right now. Art, what did you think
of this movie
adaptation?
2017. It's changing the world. If you don't
Mic
like Wonder
drop.
Woman 2017, you don't respect women, as they say. No,
that seems to be the case on the internet right now.
That's the thing, yeah. If you don't like this movie, you don't like your mother, your sister, your aunts. Look, I was pumped for it. I like Gal Gadot. Gadot, however you say it. She's an Israeli queen, is what she is. I liked her in the Fast and Furious movies. I thought she was dope, and then she died. I don't know if you know that. Did she die in the Fast and Furious movies?
Franchise spoiler alert.
It's Fast and the Furious. Stop. I thought she's not the greatest actress, but she's very charismatic, I feel.
Yeah, and I thought she was perfectly good in this. I thought she was enjoyable to watch.
And it's very interesting. And one of the things, I guess, if we were to admit problems with Batman v Superman, I feel one of the biggest problems, which is just timing in reality. And by timing, I mean that, and I've said this before, it's a movie that is supposed to be watched after all the DC movies come out. Because there's a bunch of prequels that are coming out. And once we see all these and we watch Batman v Superman again, we'll be like, oh, that's why she acted, okay. And this adds to that, because you see her character in this, and it adds a lot to what you saw in her first appearance that she had. But I loved... this is one of those movies, right, you were saying, it's hyped up so much, and it sucks that it's hyped up so much, because then you're on these levels of expectations, and it's not a bad movie, but they brought you all the way to the top, and now you gotta look down. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a good superhero movie.
Yes.
It's a good origin story.
Yeah.
But it's still like many of those from before. It's not like it does anything crazily different. And it's not like, come on now, at the end they don't resolve to be the same thing that every other blockbuster CGI fest thing with lights and whatever. I like the character of Princess Diana, of Wonder Woman. It's weird when you say of Wonder Woman, and the way that she went about like wanting to save people and being super chipper and like coming in. Some of my favorite scenes are like when she goes in there and she's yelling at the dudes like, you're not gonna do anything, and with her accent too, like she's like, you're not gonna do anything, and then she goes and she yells at Chris Pine. And there was the comedic elements that they were able to add in this movie, I think, worked, because there's this fish out of water element that they obviously have for...
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's similar to the way that they play Thor in the Marvel movies, because he comes from a different universe. That's
exactly what it's like.
Exactly. He's so like fish out of water, as you put it, that he's so alien to all the ways that this world works.
Oblivious,
Yeah, there's like an obliviousness, but also like a...
It's charming.
Yeah,
like
a charmingness to to how good they are, how morally pure they are.
That's
they haven't
exactly-
been corrupted by humans.
Yeah, and you got Thor walking around, like the way that he speaks to people, and the way that he's walking around with his weapon, the same way you have Diana walking around literally with her sword and shield, trying to charge at a revolving door. But I like that about her. She was an engaging character, and the same thing with Chris Pine, and the same thing with a lot of the other characters that they had. It's one of those movies that I saw it and I'm like, y'all hyped it up a bit too much. I'm not gonna let the. It's a good movie. Honestly, though, the more that I let it simmer, the more that I like it. Usually I would find more problems, but the more that I like, the more I think of her character and I go, she was a good character. The more that I think about some of the supporting characters and I go, they had very subtle moments. Now, it's not a perfect movie. If anybody tells you that, they're a lying, thieving adulterer at heart. The movie has moments. The movie's a statement. Like, this is the first female-directed, female-driven franchise that has crossed 100 million. Some people tend to forget that the Hunger Games was one, and that's one of the things that bothers me is that we pretend like Furiosa and all these other characters have not been around. It's disrespectful, all right? Don't you dare disrespect Furiosa and
but
people
female directed.
But directing, though, this is the first time that a female director has been able to cross 100 million, and it's very well deserved. And I love the subtleties that they have in this movie because as I was watching the movie, and I said this in my video, you can feel the people who are fans, you can feel the people who are there just for a Thursday night, but you can feel the people who legit were watching the screen going, finally, I know what it feels like to be a dude who always sees how BA they can be on screen. And to be completely honest, I don't have a kid. I don't plan to for a while. But if I had a little girl, I'd be like, yo, I'm no feminist. Not that feminism, I'm not getting into that, but I'm no, like, overly abundant, like, oh, we gotta fight for this, we gotta fight for that. I'm all about equal rights for everyone. And when I'm watching that, it just makes me go like, yo, if I had a daughter, this is that movie that I wanted to see, that I wanted to watch to be encouraged. This is the movie that where she's the one, the boys are teaming up to her. And not just in the movie. In real life, it took a woman for Warner Bros. I said this. It took a woman for Warner Bros. To finally get a fresh rating, all right? Yeah. This is their lucky charm. This is what they needed. And it's the subtleties that they have in there. You saw the movie. There's that moment where, I feel bad I forgot his name, because he's from Lost. He's from that season 6 of Lost. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's that moment where he says, I never wanted to be a soldier. I wanted to be an actor. I just wasn't the right color. And it goes to the next scene. A bad movie goes, but I just wasn't the right color. And then gets into all of his Middle Eastern whatever and talks about the one person who did him wrong and ham-fisted in your throat. Yeah. But it was so subtle. I was just like, oh, that's good. And then they left it. And they left it there for you to think about. And I'm like, those are good things. And I keep thinking about other moments that they did it. And just getting to the geeky side of things, comic book elements, the way that they did the Princess Diana to call her that, the way that they played with the lasso of truth. I really like those things. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think, considering the weight of expectations on this movie, it succeeded. You know, there's going to be people from both sides, people cheering for it and rooting against it, very passionately, and to walk that fine line and give them something they'll like, them something not to hate. You know, it's a pretty solid job in terms of making sure that it's going to fulfill what we need from a superhero movie. But it does fall victim to a lot of the, tropes of the superhero genre. Yeah. I mean, like, for me personally, the movie begins with Diana all fully grown. She receives a picture that is basically the end of the movie, and then it goes back to when she's a child. And for me, just maybe that's because I've seen too many of these movies, but when you show me her as an adult, you show me her at the end of an action sequence, and then you jump back to her as a kid, my mind is thinking, all right, well, there goes the next hour, where I'm just waiting for the thing that they showed me is going to happen to come up. And there's moments along the way that are fun, but a lot of it is exposition-y. All these superhero movies kind of fall victim to these things. I don't really think it's necessarily something to pin on Wonder Woman.
No, it runs in the family of superhero movies.
Exactly. But, there were elements of it that I did think stood out. I thought a couple of the action sequences were really well directed, particularly I want to say the middle one when she is sort of storming through the building, and
That was dope. That one was dope.
It's the one where most of the trailer shots are from, and for good reason, because it was really well directed. And even the final battle was pretty solid as well. I liked Gal Gadot, as you mentioned. A lot of the actors were really solid and charming. Chris Pine, I think, it's really excellent whenever he decides he's willing to be sort of more of a sidekick.
Yes!
He's such a charming, macho guy that to see him in that lead role, it's almost like, you're too good looking. Like,
wait, because you're seeing him on the frame and you're like, that's the main character. They ain't treating him like the main character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like he wants respect, and he's not going to really like command it, but you see him not getting it. He has this fun sort of tension throughout the movie where he feels like he needs to be the hero.
Yeah.
But yeah, both he and Gal Gadot were
it was a good dynamic. It was a good dynamic.
Yeah, and I think that's really the thing that pushes this movie through to the finish line. Especially in the beginning, without either of them there, there's less to attach to. But once the two of them show up and are able to go back and forth, have some of that banter you were talking about, the movie really starts going. And I thought, there were some really great visual flares along the way too. The way that they incorporated the lasso, I thought was going to be cheesy, just knowing what. It's a lasso.
And they laugh at it, though, but they're practically laughing at it. They're like, you know what this is. And they do a lot of things where the movie has one big moment towards the end that I cannot forgive. They literally repeat something they did in Batman v Superman. I cannot forgive it. That being said, though, there are many moments where you're just going like, why can't they just... And then a character actually did it. There's that moment where they want to beat up Chris Pine's character, and then someone goes, no, if we kill him, then we'll never know.
Yep.
Yeah. There's another moment later on. Dang, I just had it at the top of my head. When when he's trying to explain to her, he's like, no, I am taking you there. She's like, I don't believe you. Why doesn't he just grab and then he grabs the lasso of truth and puts... I'm like, hey.
Yeah, the movie you never want the audience to be smarter than your movie.
Exactly.
And luckily, when this movie felt like it was getting predictable, it would like steer into the predictability and then turn.
Yeah.
And moments like when he grabs the lasso, or I felt like I knew where it was going in terms of the villain. And
that was bad. Yeah, that was bad. You can see that from a mile away. That was bad.
Yeah. But I think it had some nice like layers to it too. Like I thought the it's forecasted obviously, but I think that the confrontation itself had interesting moments in it.
Yeah, it's very Two-Face. I thought about it. I saw a lot of elements. So one of the ones was it reminded me very much of The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Not so much The Dark Knight, but the aftermath of that, because technically, and we're spoilers, right?
Yes, let's get into spoiler territory.
So, as you know, the big twist is that Ares, which was the whole running joke, which I think is hilarious, because at a certain point, she's so like, it's Ares. Everyone's like, bro, now it's the Germans. What you talking about? Ares don't exist.
Yeah, they're fighting a war against, it's World War One.
Yes, World War
One. They're fighting against the Germans, and while Chris Pine and all of the human people want to
they just see it as
fight against the Germans and see it as a multi-dimensional war, she just sees it as, I need to defeat the god of war, Ares, and everything will be better. Everything will
that was a funny storyline because, like, you're a viewer, so you know that she doesn't... You know that she knows that this guy is real. Yeah. But then you're also a human being and you're going like, nah, she's crazy. But then her demeanor's like, but I want to believe her. And the twist that they go about with it, you have the other two characters who were straight up cartoons. I'm sorry. They were. There's a point where they just laugh. I thought they looked cool. They were cartoons. Dr. Poison. I know that's her name in the comics, but we're talking the late 90s Batman and Robin, where Poison Ivy has a guy who she injects a venom to make stronger. Bane. That was these two characters. That's what she did to him.
Yeah, it felt played out and not dimensioned in the way that a lot of these other characters
were. They could have been cool though.
Yeah,
they could. There's that moment when Chris
Pine's
like talking
to him too were pretty cheesy.
The what?
The effects on him too when he would.
Oh no! Everything. That looked like a video game. That looked like a cutscene from a video game where you're like walking and you walk in and then he just it was too late. I didn't make it.
The camera gets that weird.
Yeah, it does that shaking. That's straight up some Arkham City Batman stuff.
Yep.
But I like the way that she looked. There was one thing that I thought was really cool. Chris Pine's flirting with her, and you're like, "Ooh, we're getting some layers here. This is a woman who's never had some romantic side." So I'm like, "Oh, we're getting into this." And they're like, "No, I see your looks are for someone else." I'm like, "Bro, what? First of all, what's she doing in here when she comes in with a sword in her back?" That was dumb. But then you get to that twist, which I kind of saw coming. Because they had that lingering moment at one point when he inquires about something. And I just laughed when you have this Stuart Little looking dude with his mustache. And I'm like, stop. This is your third movie in the universe. You tell me your fourth. This is your Loki? Stop. This is who you're comparing with Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, David Thewlis isn't very
And when they put him in the suit...
Yeah, I love that one shot where he just looks like ripped as hell.
Yeah.
Like did David Thewlis spend like 6 months in the gym for like
with JK? He was with JK Simmons.
Yeah, him and JK Simmons are getting buffed just for this movie.
I mean, it was interesting. It's cartoony to me because of just he looks funny to see him be a god. He's a god. Why would he look like that? First of all, regardless. Yeah. But the idea that even at the end, very subtly, I liked it. But again, with the subtleties, that he's still considered a hero though. They had him in the little posters. I thought that was nice. But then on top of that, here's my big issue with it, all right? Batman v Superman did this thing where Superman sacrificed himself with a spear, even though Wonder Woman could have done it. Wonder Woman, again, could have easily chucked that bad boy up into space, and your boy didn't have to die.
Did they have...
I'm just saying.
Did they have, like parachutes or something? Like...
Right.
I don't know. I didn't. That felt like a bit of.
It was so forced. It was like, boy, you ain't gotta die. Go ahead, kill yourself. You know what? Whatever. Leave your 13 tapes or whatever you gotta do. You're a drama queen right now. There's no reason for you to die. There's no reason for you to die.
You know, I think certain things like that, I just accept as convention of the superhero genre.
It's definitely
there are reasons. Yeah. It's the inconsequential nature of it and the broad. You
need that moment of...
Yeah, that it sells it, but it also keeps me from really fully embracing the genre as a whole. And that's why, for me, like, Wonder Woman's just kind of like a solid movie. Like, I'm not really going to overtly recommend it to most people.
Well, it's because you're a sexist and a misogynist, because you need to love Wonder Woman 2017 in order to respect women. No, I feel you 100%. Yeah, it's a movie that people are going to campaign for and champion for. We're looking at it as a movie, though, and as a movie, it's as you say it is.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to put it... I would say maybe it's, like, in my top 10 of the superhero movies that have come out, but you know me, I'm not, like, seeing every single one of them, so...
You've seen 10, so it has to be
I've seen 10. So, like, it's not, it's not... Iron Man or the Avengers in the way that seems to be like a game changer, but it's definitely not one of the worst ones, and I think that the sequel could be fun now that they've gotten some of the boring origin beats out of the way. I'm hoping that this movie, I'm hoping that this is the Captain America that leads to the Captain America Winter Soldier.
I think you say Captain Underpants. Captain Underpants and Wonder Woman's wedgie. No, one of the things that it reminded me a lot too of was it was like almost a female Man of Steel. Man of Steel starts off with that 20 minutes in another world. So does Wonder Woman, 20 minutes in Themyscira. And then one of the things that really sealed it for me is not just the way that they come, this fish out of water in a new place, and this whole thing of they have to come to the determination that they can't save everyone. Difference being is that Superman was so moody, people didn't like that. Wonder Woman was like, I really don't like that I can't save them. Superman's like, what you gonna do? But one of the things that really just sealed the deal to me that I was like, okay, Zack Snyder literally just took the Man of Steel script and just made a couple changes. Was, do you remember Man of Steel? Infamous line where they're arresting Zod and Zod goes, I will find him! And he yells that out.
Yep.
There's a scene in Wonder Woman where they put the lasso of truth on your boy. And this is out there too. And the dude looks like he has diarrhea. It's like he's cramping. He's like, I want the behind the scenes footage where it's just him with the fake rope not lit up, just going, and he yells out. If you saw the movie, there's no way you didn't chuckle a little bit when he just goes, I'm a spy. It sounded like he said, I'm a Jeff. It was the funniest thing.
That was the biggest laugh for my theater, at least.
Oh, I say that all the time. I'm a spy. It was spy. It was funny to me, and it had a couple of other unintentional moments, some that were meant to be like the whole sleeping with one another. I thought that was funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that was kind of
clever.
intentional.
It was clever.
The whole like him exposing himself to her thing was played funny.
The whole
So yeah, I mean, I think we're both sort of in the same area with Wonder Woman in that like we're happy to see it. You know, going back to your point about being excited for that little girls can have a chance to see themselves as a badass
that's
on
dope.
screen.
That's cool.
Like for me, I'm someone who's really excited to see new things on screen. I've never seen a world like Tangerine depicted on screen. So for me to see that movie is super exciting just because I have no idea what these people, specifically these people, are going to do next. And I think there's an element of that in this as well. That, if you're putting a female hero into the traditional male hero arc, there's just some things that are going to be inherently novel about that.
Yes.
So while I am kind of dissing on this movie for being pretty by the numbers, just by virtue of its being that much different, it isn't completely by the numbers. So, I think it's worth noting that like it may seem like a stupid little difference, but it is a difference that is tangible on screen and changes the way you watch the movie.
I agree 100%. I think there definitely is a difference. We say this all the time about how the perspectives that you come in with movies are really what make it. Not every movie has to be universal. And there is a difference when a woman directs a movie. There's a difference when a straight person directs a movie. There's a difference when a black person directs a movie. Because we all have differences. I always compare it to the haircut method. The way you get a haircut is way different than the way I get a haircut. Is way different. So that little difference alone shapes your entire world differently than mine. So of course the way someone approaches a movie. Of course the way that the story goes, depending on who we're following, who's the main character, is going to vary. And when you're watching a movie, I do believe that if the character's written well, you can connect to it. There's not a lot of Hispanic 20-year-olds out there that are playing the main character in a movie, but I can still relate with a lot of those characters. Nonetheless, though, when you watch a movie and you see yourself on screen, it really it pushes you. It really invigorates you. It really inspires you. And I think that's what Wonder Woman has.
And it doesn't come at the detriment of any of the male characters, too. I thought that's dynamic between Chris Pine and his troupe was great.
Because some people want that. And those are the people that make me go, nah, you are becoming what you're fighting against. So, and again, that's the thing. If you do not like Wonder Woman, I don't get why people get mad because they want you to like it just because.
So those are our collective thoughts on Wonder Woman. Let us know in the comments below whether you agree, disagree, or have any reactions to our reactions. We're going to move ahead into our last big segment of the day. It's called New to See. This is where we go over what's new in theaters, new at the box office, and what we will be checking out over the weekend. Looking first at this weekend's box office, it's, of course, Wonder Woman coming in first place with the big $100 million return. It is definitely getting a sequel at this space. And good for the movie, good for Patty Jenkins. Patty Jenkins is a really talented director who deserves a hit like this.
She's cool. I saw some of the behind the scenes. Like, she's cool. Like, she gets into it. She's up there, like, with the bow and arrow. She's like, you do it like this. I like that. But I think the movie also made 230 globally. So that's also really cool. So that means that it's getting overseas bank as well. So that's dope.
Yeah, which probably was a bigger question than it getting love here. I mean, there was definitely a lot of the hunger for it here, but who knows who knew, at least in the past, what the international market was for a female superhero.
Yeah, in some places specifically.
Now we know it can be very big. Coming in second, just barely, Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, starring many of our mutual boys in voice capacities. I actually didn't see this one. Art, did you get around to
I'm watching it tomorrow night at the drive-in. I'm a huge Captain Underpants fan. Back in the day, I was. It's Captain Underpants, then I moved on to a series of unfortunate events, and what do you know? Both of them are now adapted. What a crazy time to be alive.
Wow, 12-year Art would be so happy.
Here's my worry about it, right? What made a series of unfortunate events great was the style of writing and the humor that it had within a book. What made Captain Underpants great? The way that it had those fliporamas, the way that it was written, the way that it was drawn on these books. And I don't know if that's going to translate on screen. I didn't think it translated well. Let me put it this way. A series of unfortunate events, the Netflix series, is perfect. Yet I don't like it. I don't like it as a TV series. I like it as a book. And I feel like I'm not going to like Captain Underpants as a movie because I think it works better as a book. I'm a person who truly believes that. I believe Harley Quinn's a cartoon. She ain't no live-action character. And that may be a video I make in the future. But yeah, that's my quick thoughts on that. On a movie that I haven't seen yet, but I'm going to watch tomorrow.
Cool. So check out Art's various social medias. You'll probably catch some thoughts on Captain Underpants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Captain Underpants and then some political views. That's how we go.
Yeah, exactly. Coming in third, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales, dropping precipitously in its second week, only making $21 million. Followed up by Guardians of the Galaxy 2, another mega box office hit. And in fifth, rounding out the top 5, is Baywatch, which has only made $41 million domestically after 2 weeks. It's considered a domestic flop. The Rock refuted that on Twitter.
I saw that. I saw it with Scott Vance.
Yeah. So, I mean, it definitely made less money than they were hoping for in the U.S., but there's already rumors that they're working on a Baywatch 2. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Sure. It doesn't seem like it was that expensive to make or anything. You just got to get the talent to stick around. I don't know what Alexandra Daddario is doing otherwise. So
hey, you leave Alexandra Daddario alone, okay? She's a fantastic actress. I didn't see Baywatch.
I haven't seen it either. Did you see Pirates or Guardians too?
I'll be watching. Yeah, I saw Guardians. I'll watch it. I'm watching Pirates at the drive-in double feature tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have not seen any of those movies. I still want to catch up with Guardians too. New in theaters this upcoming weekend. It's The Mummy. Your favorite, with Tom Cruise, Sophia Boutella, Annabelle Wallace, and Russell Crowe.
Interesting.
Who, I don't know how he ended up in this, but that is
he was a nice guy.
That is the Brendan Fraser franchise, which is getting rebooted, redone.
He better appear. He better appear in some way. As a hieroglyph. I don't care. He better appear.
He has a cameo as a mummy. You can't tell because he's all wrapped up. Also in theaters, Megan Levy, a movie that I had no idea existed until I started doing research for this segment of the show. This one stars Kate Mara, Bradley Whitford, Geraldine James, Tom Felton, some actors I know.
What's it about?
And kind of like. It's based on a true story about a young Marine and her military companion dog. And it's PG-13.
Nah, I've seen this. What's it called again?
Megan Levy?
I've seen... This movie looks cheesy as can be. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Now I know what you're exactly talking about.
It's one of those.
It's one of those.
Also in theaters this weekend, It Comes at Night. This was the Overlook Film Festival smash horror hit, directed by Krisha director Trey Edward Schultz, with Joel Edgerton, Christopher Abbott, Carmen Ejogo, and Riley Keough in the main roles. You're as pumped as I am about this one, right?
Let's go. All I needed was that teaser.
Man, I've got opening night tickets to this one. I'll be there Thursday night, so
I'm excited.
I will definitely be tweeting a lot about that movie. I'm pumped.
This sounds like that one that you come out of the theater going, "This was the one. This is the one I remember." So I'm hoping it's that one. A24.
I'm sure it's not going to have the same type of social political commentary that Get Out had, but just in terms of the way that it can be a surprise horror, I'm hoping it catches some of that word of mouth and can maybe take a dent out of the weekend's box office. But we'll see.
That guy's a crazy good director. That guy's an insanely good director.
Yes.
Like, if you study actual directing, you may not like Krisha because of the way that it develops in the story, but you have no idea how his direction is good. Hate the story, but directing, this man's insane.
Yes. Also in theaters this weekend, a few indie releases. The Hero, starring Sam Elliott, Laura Prepon, Kristen Ritter.
Yeah, that was at Sundance. I missed it. Yeah.
Beatrice at Dinner.
Also
this
missed
one
that
stars Selma Hayek and John Lithgow. They're advertising this as like the first movie of the Trump America because there's some political discussion. She's like an immigrant, and there's some discussion about that. I don't know.
I have to watch it and support it, I guess, right?
It's been getting some interesting reviews, so I
doesn't matter. I just have to watch it and support it.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if it's good or not.
Well, I didn't know if it's politically correct or not. It's just about this
There's a
current
Hispanic
era,
woman
so.
in it. I have no choice but to praise it. Now, I did hear good things about it in her performance specifically at Sundance. I
And John Lithgow.
So.
And also in theaters this weekend, My Cousin Rachel, starring Sam Claflin and Rachel Weisz. And this movie just confuses me because it's called My Cousin Rachel and it stars Rachel Weisz. I don't like when movie characters are named the same as the actor unless it's supposed to be like, oh, it's just
Blair Witch.
I get it. Yeah, or if it's like something really cheap and low budget, I forgive it. But I don't know, it just confuses me.
It's funny.
If I'm saying Rachel, am I talking about the character?
Yeah.
Am I talking about the
Yeah, I know what
actress?
you mean. I like Sam Claflin, though.
Yeah, good actor. New to Netflix this upcoming week on Friday, we get Orange is the New Black Season 5. Are you up on Orange?
Smokes. No, my girlfriend's seen it. She's told me to watch it. I haven't. Should I?
I'm a couple seasons behind myself,
okay.
so I don't really know. I heard the 4th season was good. But yeah, that's most of what's coming up this week. So, Art, what is your weekend watch recommendation?
Boy, my weekend watch recommendation, I've been saying it. I mean, we're allowed to talk about the movies we just mentioned, right?
Yeah.
It Comes at Night. Watch that bad boy. That thing looks dope. I say go out, and if you know about A24, I'm pretty sure you're watching it. But if you're one of those who, again, maybe you're watching our Wonder Woman stuff and you're more into the blockbusters, give A24 a chance. Go to your indie theater. Maybe they're expanding and maybe they're at your regular theater. Go definitely check it out. But other than that, there's actually something I'm curious. I know you didn't bring it up in the show. Maybe you watched it. Have you heard of Raven's Home? This is the surprise sequel to That's So Raven. Now, this blew my mind because That's So Raven, I think, has had like a 10-year hiatus.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the trailer that they had for Raven's
I haven't
Home.
yet. I thought you weren't watching trailers.
Raven's back, boy. This is an exception. All right? You know how long Raven's been gone? Did you see this coming?
10 years.
Did she see this coming?
Yeah, that's the question, is whether or not she saw this coming the whole time.
Well, I mean, right now she's Raven Simone's like that's one we don't want to mess with. I like that she was in Master of None. I finally finished it. Yeah.
I'm on Master of None. I'm on Raven Simone's train right now. If you do a Master of None cameo, I'm for you.
Yeah, but I love how she went on there and playing the role that she is, like getting super mad whenever something politically incorrect happens.
Daytime host who gets mad at people professionally.
Exactly. However, it's Fuller House. She now has a kid, and Chelsea's back, and she has a kid.
Boy Meets Girl.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Or Girl Meets World.
Girl Meets World.
Bad
Sexist.
titles.
Girl Meets World. It's Fuller House. They have kids, but the kid can have visions now. But what I do like is like when they cut to the kids, I'm like, oh, this is a cringe fest, dude. And then it goes and it cuts to like they're complaining, and then Raven goes, and she says something, and I was like, yo, that's Raven.
That's my girl.
But so we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
That's the inherent problem with these shows, isn't it? Like, they want to be kid shows, but like we only.
But they
care
know
about the
who's
adults.
attracting them. It's attracting 20-year-olds. And you can't call it Raven's Home and then not have it not be like about Raven. I get that it's in her house, but I don't know. We'll see. So watch that. Why? Don't watch trailers, but watch the Raven's Home trailer. Let me know what you think, because that's the exception. All right. Corey in the House, season 4? That should come out too. Anime
Corey
box
back
set.
in the house.
Yeah,
and
Corey.
he's the dad.
Oh, Corey back in the house. Oh, I don't know. There's too many
We're
Trump.
pitching that.
There's
We're
too many
pitching that
Trump
next
stuff
week.
there. That's too dangerous. No, Corey.
Okay, so that's your weekend recommendation. I'm gonna go with F for family. There's no is there. I just threw it in because I thought it'd be fun. I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
It's what I've been watching, but
checking it out.
we'll get into it more next week because Art and I have both been trying to catch up on it. It is a really awesome show. I want to say it's in the mold of King of the Hill in the way that it was kind of a subtle look at like the weirdness of suburban life and sort of the kind of petty fun squabbles that we are familiar with. I mean, they're not all petty and fun. I shouldn't necessarily say that. This season actually gets pretty dark and tests the marriage at the center of the show. But
I like that.
It's really, really well written and darkly funny and doesn't pull punches. I think it depicts people in an honest way, especially because the show takes place in 1973. It's brutally honest about a lot of these characters in terms of the way that they're backwards in terms of gender politics or racial politics. There's a lot of really racist stuff on the edges. That's not like racist actually, but like referring to racist past. I think it's an intensely clever show, so I would check it out for anybody who is a fan of adult animation and has a Netflix account.
I'm down. Yeah. It's been on my queue. Just got to watch it.
All right, so that's all for this week's show. You can catch more from me, Zach Shevich, by following me on Twitter @ZShevich or on Instagram @ZShevich. You can check out my Governor's Ball videos. I saw Childish, man. I saw Childish Gambino, his only 2017 show.
Hey, do me a favor. Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Go screw yourself, man. Whatever. I don't care.
You can also check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/multiplex show, where I will be posting a new video discussing my absence from YouTube and some other stuff, what you can look forward to me now that I'm back on the platform more often. Art, where can the viewers catch more from you?
So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Club Penguin, Letterboxd, and of course the YouTubes at TheAtZShow on all of those bad boys. Coming up with I have a bunch of ideas. You know how it is. A bunch of ideas that I want to make. Let's just hope I don't get busy. I got a lot of other editing projects and stuff to do. But if any case, I will be making at least one video minimum a week. So definitely head over to that channel. But of course, you could also just find me here with Zach as we do the Intercut. Thank you guys for watching. And Zach?
You can listen to every episode of the Intercut podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can find new episodes of the Intercut every Tuesday at noon Eastern. Also like our Facebook and Twitter pages at IntercutPod, P-O-D, for updates throughout the week from both of us and the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, remember, cinema is life told at 24 frames per second, unless you're Billy Lynn's long halftime walk.
Woo!
You like my outro?
I like that.